What is going on, everybody, and welcome to the Warzone. I don't think I've ever done or hosted this show. Maybe I have, but I'm just forgetting. We have a great guest with us. I'm sitting in here with a couple of really great people, but they're Raider fans, and we're going to get into all this stuff. Joe, what do you got?
I got music. That's what I got.
Play it already. What the hell?
Let's get ready to rumble.
Step into the war zone.
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 Friday night war zone.
Friday night.
And there we go. You want to introduce our guest, Tony, or you want me to do it?
You got it.
This is Mr. Phil Jones, and I'm happy to bring you on. I'll let you do all your hashtags in a minute, but Raider fan, and I'm happy to finally bring a Raider fan into the Warzone because we brought in a bunch of Charger fans. We brought in other fans, and I finally got somebody on my side, Tony. Finally. So, Phil, welcome to the Warzone. Go ahead and let people know where they can find you.
You guys can find me at Phil Jones NFL on Twitter, Instagram, Phil Jones Facebook. Follow the Unfiltered Truth. That's with a P, the one and only. And also our YouTube page. You guys can give the Unfiltered Truth subscribe. And I have actually an episode later tonight for you guys. Recap for this week or today's practice.
Oh, today's practice. Oh, there we go. I'll take that. I've been trying to watch it. There's a lot of news coming out about the training camp, and sometimes you can believe it, sometimes you can't. But I'm happy to go unfiltered.
Did I spell it right? Did I spell it right?
Yes, you did.
Unfiltered Truth. I love the play on words. I think that's an excellent use of your name and the show. I've seen it. You get into it, passionate, talking about sports. I love it.
And we're going to fill you up with Raider news and NFL talk all over the place. That's a good name. Where did Warzone come from? HQ, you got to come around more. We got Warzone going on all the time.
Yeah, Joe, let's get into our first topic with him. Let's not worry about HQ.
Should we talk about the Raiders? Should we talk about the Raiders first, or should we just go AFC kind of West wrap around? Because I know you got a lot. You know what? Let's do it. Why not? People come for the Raiders because the Raider Nation is everywhere, Tony. And Phil and I were talking earlier off the air with Tony because Tony is trying to become a Charger fan. And Phil said, "Nuh-uh. Go to a team with rings." Should we give him like a little 30-second thing right now, Phil, of why he should become a Raider fan?
Yeah, absolutely.
Go ahead. I'll let you persuade him to the dark side.
Let me tell you something. Do you really want to be walking around in this light, funky powder blue jersey all the time? Do you really want to be going to a stadium where you have to share it with the other team and you're using food stamps to pay the bills? That ain't it. Come to Vegas. Vegas is fire. You got the casinos, you got the food, you got the ladies. The Raiderettes are good looking. Them Charger chicks, they be looking like I said, they look like the one that killed Selena. And you don't want that, man. I'm just telling you.
I'll say this. I'm already married, and you're telling me I'm getting an EBT card to be a Chargers fan?
Nah, I'm saying the Chargers are doing that to pay the bills. They got to stay in the stadium, bro. They got to pay their half.
I see. Joe, your pitch.
Hey, do you want to be a loser or a winner, Tony? Loser or a winner? That's it. That's my pitch right there.
I do look good in black too, which is nice. Yeah.
See?
I'm becoming a Chargers fan because I lived in San Diego. I've always had a soft spot. I was a Packers fan growing up. And had they not betrayed Brett Favre the way they did, I'd still be a Packers fan to this day. So I've been without a team for so long. I live in the Los Angeles area. I had to pick one of them. And I just enjoyed watching Charger games more over the last couple of years. I was always kind of secretly a Phillip Rivers fan too.
Hold on. Can I put my bid in? Can I put? Let me add one more convention to it. The other thing is this: y'all had Raider fans just overtaking their stadium. They have only you're going to be fan number 10. They only have 9 fans. Every time the Raiders come there, it's like another Raider stadium. So
no, I agree with you because I went to my first Packers game at Qualcomm.
Trade San Diego, man.
I went to my first game in Qualcomm to watch the Packers, and it was like 95% Packer fans. It was like, I thought maybe it was like a giveaway for the Midwestern area. It wasn't. It was just they came out in droves and the Chargers fans didn't.
That's enough about the Chargers. That's enough.
I know, man.
You're coming over to the silver and black, and we'll tell you why. We'll talk about the team this year, and you'll probably come on over.
And the
Derek
Carr is good, man.
Phil, please tell me you're a Derek Carr supporter.
I'll put it like this. I am hard on Derek Carr. Now, everybody always likes to jump in and say that he's a Derek Carr hater. He can't stand him. He wants to drag him. Look, I'm going to put it like this. I'm very critical of what he does because I know he can do better. I know that the times that I saw his game, not even talking about the 2016, I'm talking about even going back to 2015. 2015, he had about 30-some touchdown passes. You look at Derek Carr, he's a guy that can run, a 4.6, and there was times that you didn't see him run the ball. And I'm like, instead of you taking a hit or throwing that ball into the ground, run, dude. And there's been times that I'm able to point it out. But Derek Carr has a lot of pieces this year. He has the weapons, tight end, wide receivers. They have speed. He has running backs that I'm just going to be real. Jacobs and Drake, that's going to be sick. Okay? That's going to be sick.
I'm with you on that. I think the Drake signing was a great signing for everybody. And everybody's like, oh, they overpaid him. I don't care what you paid him. You got him in there. You got him on your team. He's going to start catching balls out of the backfield. There's so much things that you could do. And I was actually talking about it earlier today with one of my friends that I think John Gruden had some catching up to do when he got hired. And he's finally catching up to the new style of offense in the NFL. And he's going to start moving these guys around and doing a lot more weapons, getting them a lot more involved instead of just lining up and running the ball.
Well, I'm going to put it like this. I'll put it like this to you. And I had to really dig and find and research about John Gruden when he first came back. I wrote an article on it. John Gruden has actually gathered not just his playbooks from when he was with Tampa Bay and with the Raiders in his first stint, but y'all got to remember, he ran a fired head coaches camp. John Gruden has also been around all 31 teams in the league. Play style, coaching style. He's been able to implicate certain plays into his own to where his playbook is basically, it actually is on the same level as everybody in the NFL. The thing about it, the reason why he hasn't been able to open it, if you really get the vibe on John Gruden, there's like a certain sense of he doesn't have the trust going on. Like when I noticed in 2018, 2019, and 2020, you always notice that, damn, what? It looked good the first half, but second half, it's like when we have injuries or something ain't working, he goes right into this like, all right, we're just going to keep basic like this, and we're going to try to ground and pound, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do that, and it's not working. Yes, red zone offense needs to open up. without a doubt.
Yeah.
Let me bring this point up to you guys, because we're in a quarterback driven league and you guys are talking about having fear about that position, right? Like, you're saying he doesn't run. Is that a little bit left over from the back injury that he suffered? I mean, that was a pretty severe injury. Like, does he not want to run because he doesn't want to take those hits?
Part of that, yes. There was a time that, when you look at it, yeah.
He's just a little shook.
I'm a Carr supporter, but I think he's a little timid from that injury still. He's starting to shake it off a little bit.
Yeah.
It's been a couple of years since it, and the first year, horrible. Last year, he started to shake it off, and I think Gruden's getting in his ear. And I think this year, and even people, from what I'm reading about at camp, is the quarterback play has been great at camp, but you always read that about every quarterback almost.
I put it like this. Until they put them pads on, that's when you get a better idea of what's going on.
It's coming. It's like, what do they got? 7 days? They can't put
Wednesday.
pads on for 7
Wednesday
days.
they'll have pads on.
So there we go. We'll see them in pads. And then, you can't have a great quarterback without, you can have a great quarterback without good wide receivers, but the wide receivers position has been what's hurting the Raiders, I think, the last couple of years. They bring in people every year thinking that this guy is going to be the guy. Finally, they have two young guys going into their second year. One of my favorite ones, Brian Edwards, is who I like. And then Tony loves Henry Ruggs. Right, Tony?
Yep. I drafted him. I'll probably have him in a couple more of my fantasy leagues. Like, I just think he's got a real opportunity to shine. I saw a report where he put on a little bit of weight, which I think is great. He might be a step slower, but if he's a little bit thicker, he can maybe play that like sort of Steve Smith type football, like be a little bit more aggressive, bang it with his body a little bit more. So I could see him being a legit one, not an upper end one, but a legit one receiver to go next to Darren Waller, who I think is the best tight end in football.
I can agree with you on that one. Now the thing is this: the receivers that the Raiders have, if John Gruden sticks to his guns, like he starts in the beginning of the season and stays that way to the very end, which is, like I said, beginning of the season, successful. It's that second half that's killing us.
Yeah.
He likes to run multiple sets. If you caught the week 1 and week 2, you saw it right there. And you saw why we were putting up about 35, averaging about 34 points a game. Had first set in, second set in of wide receivers, and they were moving, driving downfield, left and right. It was not. Panthers were getting tired. They were getting worn down. Same with the Saints. I like how he does it. Getting Ruggs, Edwards, then John Brown, work Renfro in the slot. And, you can have Zay Jones on the outside or switch it around and have Ruggs in the slot. There's so many things he can do with this offense, with these receivers, and especially with Darren Waller lining him up out wide. I mean,
yeah,
they should be dominating. Like, you definitely look at it on paper, they're dominating. When they did it week 1, week 2, they were dominating. It has to stay consistent. The Raiders can be something where I'm not trying to speak crazy and, people like, okay, well, he's smoking right there. But the Raiders have the pieces where they can be a top 5 offense.
No, he's not lying.
Hang on.
Be biased all you want. They were they were a number 11.
You know how my man on There's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, he had the whole like drawing board, had like the tape in the yarn like connected to everything. I'm like, right here, you circle that right there. This can happen.
Okay, just real quick, I need you guys to do this for me. Name what you think going into the season, people, sort of the consensus top 5, like Chiefs, Bucks.
You might want to put the Browns up there just because of their running offense.
Browns sure. Cowboys have a lot. I don't know, like what offense.
I can't put the Cowboys up there because we don't know how Dak is going to be.
Sure, we can take them out.
How he's going to come back because you already see Dak is already hurt.
Man, I just top. You guys believe that the Raiders have a top 5 offense, right? Now?
I came out last year and I said Raiders going to have a top 10 offense. People laughed at me. They finished number 11. Now you're going to laugh at Phil because he's going to say top 5, and they've probably improved a little bit. This EPH tribe guy said we need to. Oh no, I'm sorry. I brought up the wrong comment. I think the new offensive line. This is one of the things that people are sleeping on this year, Tony, is this offensive line. I don't know what Phil thinks, but I personally think exactly what EPH just said. This offensive line is better than it was last year, and it has more depth there. They basically have a second string offensive line that could be starting to offensive line somewhere else.
Wait, didn't you guys replace like 3 starters on the offensive line?
Let me tell you something. I'm gonna break this down, and I'm gonna end this because everybody is going off of Pro Football Focus with this O line, and I'm gonna tell you this: Pro Football Focus is not the best group to be going off of when it comes to O line. I'm gonna tell you that. I played O line myself, and I saw that because the film does not lie. Trent Brown, if you saw some of the stuff he was doing, he was being lazy. He was not coming out of his stance like how you properly should as a right tackle. The other thing is this. When you look
you got $5 to stop this conversation.
When you look at Rodney Hudson, you go back to that Falcons game. They had it wasn't even Grady Jarrett, bro. It was the backup. It was the backup pushing him back, driving him back into Derek Carr. You also saw another DN or D tackle just blowing right past Gabe Jackson. That's why they had to struggle in the red zone. When they were trying to run it in, punching in for a score, you couldn't get it done. Because you know why? Hudson and Jackson could not generate a push. And that's been the problem. If you you can't go back and look at all 22 anymore, because guess what? The NFL took it down off of Game Pass. But if you can really look at the game closely, they could not generate a push. And it was bad.
I can't think of the offensive line. I was driving to work this morning, early morning, and there's an offensive lineman on the radio, and I wish I could remember his name. He was a retired offensive lineman, and he had this same conversation that you're talking about. That he
Faneca.
Said, no, Alan
Faneca from the Steelers. He was on a bunch of press tour this morning.
It wasn't Faneca. This guy actually has a show, his own show. But he was talking, it had to be like an old Giant player or something like that. I can't remember. But he was talking about PFF, just like you were saying. He goes, it does give us a little bit of, he goes, for a media standpoint, it's great because it gives us a little talking platform. He goes, Hall of Fame and everything else, it doesn't give you absolutely anything for offensive linemen. And he said that's where offensive linemen get hurt is with the PFF ratings. And he was talking about possibly coming up with a new system, but he wasn't smart enough to do it. But he said there's a couple different ones that they should look into, especially like how the running back, how many yards the running back has and stuff like that. He said there's a lot of good things that come off of that. I wish I could remember his name, but I don't know it off the top of my head.
I'm gonna look it up, and if I find it, I'm gonna let you know. But I'll tell you another thing. They had at the end of the season, Rodney Hudson ranked 7th or 8th. How come fast forward to now, he's ranked number 1 on PFF? Come on.
This is a conspiracy that PFF hates the Raiders, or they hate him individually.
You want to put money on it? You can go and look. Go and look.
Tony,
no. Forget the money. If I'm telling the truth, you gotta be a Raider fan, man.
I can't be a Raider fan. I just can't do it. There's no way. There's
a lot of Raider hate out there, Tony, and people hate the Raiders so much that it kind of blinds them just because of how much they hate that organization, and they can't look at the actual team and be like, oh, there's some actual talent here. There's some actual talent on this Las Vegas team. And people are so high on the Chargers this year because of what? Because they brought in a center. And that's their key offensive free agency. They're like, we brought in a center. We're going to the Super Bowl.
And
And
they
they're not
drafted
looking-
an offensive lineman with their first pick.
who is actually, if you read some of the reports, they're not as good. If you read the reports on Alex Leatherwood, who a lot of us Raider fans were upset about, every veteran is talking great about Alex Leatherwood in camp. Every coach is talking about
it. Even better, bro. I give you something even better. So I say a couple weeks ago, I spoke with the strength and conditioning coach, DeAnthony Batista. He has told me since he's been drafted, this man has been to the facility in the film room, in the weight room. He's out there by himself working on getting the right tackle position down, going through the steps. It's basically when you're trying to learn the steps, you're switching sides. So your foot plan is different. So you got to get used to that, and you got to get into that whole rhythm, that pattern. It's like it's like trying to ride a bicycle. And I'm going to say this, Alex Leatherwood is really putting in the work like it's nothing. Like this man is like, I'm going to be real. It's happy. It's good to see someone taking the commitment to say, look, I want to get this job right. I don't care about the glam. I don't care about this and that. My mind is in the playbook. My mind is trying to get this right tackle position down and making sure that I'm successful in my rookie year. And that's what he's been doing.
Look, I reacted. I told you. I just said it. When they drafted Alex Leatherwood, I threw a fit because I wanted.
Here.
Yeah.
Same
but
here.
now that you actually go back and you realize it and you look at it, you know who I wanted. Mike's trying to instigate stuff. You know who I wanted, and that was Trayvon Moehrig, who they got in the second round, and who they got. So I'm happy with it. I'm good with it. Yes, I was pissed off that they drafted him, but you know what? Enough about that offense. This is what really keys the Raiders this year is that defense. Can they turn around the defense? And Mike, as a Charger fan, and everybody else from Chargers fans are saying Gus Bradley sucks. He's predictable, but I don't care what you think about Gus Bradley. Look at his record. Top 15 defense everywhere he's been. Raiders defense the last 7 years with Carr, 20th, 28th, no better than 25th. So if Gus Bradley can turn this defense around just a little bit and get enough out of these players, they're going to win games. What do you think, Phil?
I'm gonna be real here. This defense here, everybody has said that they're terrible, they're horrendous. I don't even think they are. To be honest, I think that because they had Paul Gunther, just not knowing what he was going to do, not knowing if he went on third down, he has about 22 different plays. You got to remember 22 different plays for a third down. Or, he calls his play, he gets on the mic like, no, audible out of that. Change it. We're going this. How can you be successful when a man that is second guessing himself? That man was not a leader of men. Gus Bradley, most definitely is. And, when he's with the Chargers, they had great success on defense. When you look at when he created the Legion of Boom, I think the guys are going to react better to Gus Bradley. There's discipline, there's leadership. The one thing everybody's been talking about, Jonathan Abram, oh my gosh, you rated the worst safety in PFF. I'm getting tired of hearing PFF right now. Literally sick of it. You know what Abram's been doing? Watching, listening, learning. You haven't heard a peep from him in camp. All he's doing, everything that he's doing, he's like, what do you need me to do, coach? You need me to be right there? You need me to be right there? You want me to come off the edge? When you have a guy that's willing to shut his mouth and listen to what his coach is telling him, he's going to succeed. He's going to succeed.
EPH is saying Gus Bradley's defense needs speed and reaction time, and we got those guys.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And a lot of, some of them sleepers like, two of your rookies, Divine Diablo and Malcolm Kuntz. Those boys got speed. And they move Diablo from safety down to linebacker. And then you also have Tanner Muse, who's been doing pretty decent. And then you're going to have Nicholas Morrow and Corey Littleton out there more. They're going to move. I think they're going to move Corey Littleton inside.
Yeah, the only question mark I have right now for that Raider defense, and and normally there's a lot of question marks. The only question mark I have is defensive tackle, and they have Quentin Jefferson there. They have Hakens. They have Philon, but then there's rumors coming out that Solomon Thomas is too small to be the defensive tackle. So I'm wondering what they're going to do there. But Ngakoue, I like him. I like Max Crosby. I like Farrell. So I think the defensive ends are there, but the defensive tackle is the only one. And you touched on it. Jonathan Abram last year. What were Mayock and Gruden saying about Abram last year? Oh, if he would get off his media tour, if he would stop talking to people and get on the field, it'd actually be a nice thing. Now you don't hear him on any show. He's not nowhere. He's doing his thing. They say that he's learning from Casey Hayward, who came in there to be the veteran guy. And these guys are just shutting up, and they have a mission to do.
I give you this. He has to look over his shoulder now. Who do we bring back?
Who did he bring back? Carl Joseph.
Exactly.
Yeah, Carl Joseph he played on the Browns for 1 year last year. If you remember,
pretty good.
He's a hitter. This is a hitting like. This is reminding me of the old school defenses. This backfield. I'm not going to go that too far, but these guys are hitters where they might give up some points, but you're going to remember Monday morning that you played the Raiders. You're going to remember them because they're going to knock you out. They're going to knock you around.
Now the real question mark I have right now is that slot position, that nickel, because if I recall, Gus Bradley, his base defense is more of that nickel package. So that 4-2-5. So we got to know who's going to be in that slot because you got to look. Nevin Lawson's going to be suspended for the first 2 games of the season. Hobbs, I'm hearing a lot of positives from him. I watched him when I covered the Big 10. He was pretty damn good. He was a major impact for that team.
Mike. Straight hate.
It is. Hang on, Joe, real quick. Wasn't one of the issues that they didn't get pressure last year on the quarterback? Like they couldn't sack, they couldn't get after. Like Crosby was the only person who was doing anything positive on the defense, and that Abrams was kind of more of a linebacker than a safety. And all of this in one season has been fixed.
They had players playing out of position.
Let me tell you this. If you're not doing the correct stunts as a defensive lineman, you're going to look like trash.
So that's part of the Cleveland Farrell thing, or was that just a bad pick?
With Farrell,
what do you consider a bad defensive end, Tony? Are you just going off of sacks? Is that what you're going off of?
Well, I'm going off of QB pressures. I'm going off of, like, if you draft somebody in the first pick, I mean, I want to see him pop. I want to see him make plays, tackles for losses or something. Quarterback pressure. I see nothing from that from him.
Well, actually, he has gotten pressure. But here's the thing with Farrell. Everybody, people have to stop looking at Farrell as he was supposed to be the replacement for Matt. Now, in all honesty, they should have went Josh Allen. That's who it should have been. But the fact of the matter is, they felt that, I think Paul Gunther felt that Farrell fit his defense more than Josh Allen. And to be honest, I still shake my head on that one. But Farrell, he's better inside. As I noticed when he came back and Last year, they put him inside at D tackle. I think it was the Jets game. Now, outside he can do pretty good, but inside he can create pressure as well. He has a lot to show, folks. But I'm also going to say this: Quentin Jefferson, that's most likely going to end up being your starter at D tackle. And Quentin Jefferson, he can create pressure, and he's violent. And you saw what he did to our D line interior wise when we played him when he was with the Bills last year.
Okay, I'm not going to pretend to know the Raiders as intimately as you two gentlemen. I watch maybe 3 Raider games a year. I will say that the same thing has been happening over and over, a collapse at the end of the season for whatever reason you want to paint. I'm curious as to what you guys have just spoke glowingly for the past 26 minutes about the Raiders. What is your record prediction for the Raiders next season? That's what I'm curious about. I want to get into that. Like, you can take it out. Walk it out however you want. I want to hear some predictions for the Raiders next year.
I'm gonna let Joe go first.
Well, look, tough schedule, very, very tough schedule. One of the hardest schedules. I mean, just look at the first 2 games that they got to start off. They got to start off with Ravens Monday night, turn around, fly to Pittsburgh at a 10 a.m. start on the West Coast. So right there, you're already starting at a disadvantage. But I think they have enough talent. I think they have a great team. They're coached well. They've gotten over the winning on the road stuff. So I'm going. Well, with that 17th game, you got to go. So it's like 9-8, 10-7.
Oh, so you're about the same where I'm at. See, I don't want to disclose it yet because you
don't have to. I don't want to ruin anything for your show.
So, but you're around.
It's not the show. It's really not the show. It's like I have all 32 lists of every team's win-loss record.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't want to ruin anything like that. I'll say that I'm with Joe. I have the Raiders when I was going through and we put together. We've been doing all of our predictions. I'm at 9 wins for the Raiders this year. I don't think the Raiders are that bad. It's just that when I hear people discuss their team so passionately, and I'm like, I've not seen any of this. I do think that the Raiders who have had collapses down the stretch, I think that could be different this year. When I look at the schedule, I'm like, oh, if they can get to a point where they're at that sort of like fighting for a playoff spot, I think there's some winnable games at the end of the season, and I could see them finishing 9-8 this year.
To talk to this Mike about how we were glowing about it, and then we go 9 or 10. 9 or 10 wins is like what me if there's something that's not like my top. That's not like the ceiling. That's like the middle of where I think they are, and that's not even the floor, because the floor, if something can back it happen, they drop down to 6 wins. Yeah. But I think 10 wins is a playoff team. If you're asking me, in the AFC, I think 10 wins is a playoff team. And Mike won't like it, but I still think they're better than the Chargers.
You got to look. It's going to be a battle for both conferences this year. So the AFC West, yes, it's definitely going to be a battle. I'm going to be real. Denver in that quarterback room, I'm not so sure. The Chargers, you have to also look at, Herbert's going in with a new offensive coordinator, basically a new offense. So we don't know how that's going to turn out. And you don't know if he's going to deal with a sophomore slump. You got to factor some of that stuff in.
Yeah, factor that in.
And I'm going to tell you one thing. Joe Lombardi as an offensive coordinator, go back to when he was with Matthew Stafford with the Lions. Them numbers were not great. They were
I have no idea what they were. I know that Stafford's had a pretty prolific career, so you'd have to show me like they were the worst seasons that he had, and then who did he have? Was Calvin Johnson healthy? There's a lot of factors into going back and revisiting history or whatever. For me, Justin Herbert is one of the most exciting players, like on the rise. I'm
not going to say he's not exciting. I'm not going to say that, and I ain't going to put that down. But you always got to remember, when it's your second year, and now you're going in a new offense, And it's not like you're in college anymore because things change. So
just real quick, this I would agree with you to previous NFLs, but I think Patrick Mahomes in his second year or whatever won an MVP. I think Lamar Jackson in his second year won an MVP. Like we've seen of recent history that the learning curve for certain quarterbacks is not as grand. And I think they did make improvements on the offensive line, which will help him out. He's very study oriented. All the wonderful things that you guys have been saying, I'm hearing the same things about the nerd Justin Herbert, who's just in the playbook and learning the offense and gelling with this guy. Everything is roses. It's the same thing, Joe, when we did the draft thing that I was complaining about. Where is the 5 worst plays from this player? Stop showing the highlight tapes of everybody because everybody looks like an NFL caliber player. I want low lights. I want to know what their weaknesses are. I want to know where they have room to improve, not what they do great.
Yeah, I'm with you. But Phil, you said you had some insight of the training camp from breakdown. So give us that. And then we'll move on because Mike is crying back there, and I don't want to hear him crying no more.
You should just whisper in his ear every morning, just send him a message saying, Raiders.
See, Tony, if you become a Raider fan, you get to
Raiders.
Just say it one time, Tony. Say it.
Raiders. Mike's ripping his hair out, literally.
Okay. You know he's screaming in the background like,
oh, it's fine. We'll bolt up.
I'll give you 2 names. Before we move on from the Raiders, I'll give you 2 names that I really like this year. And somebody mentioned in the chat earlier, Trayvon Mullen, the cornerback. I think he's going to have a great year. And Foster Moreau, who people are forgetting about, who got hurt. And Darren Waller and Foster Moreau could be the 2 best tight ends. A good 2 tight end combination, not 2 best tight ends, but 2
I get what
tight
you're
end
saying.
combination.
Yeah.
Foster Moreau took a lot of TDs away from Darren Waller 2 years ago. So if you're in fantasy and a lot of people are taking Darren Waller high, kind of calm down.
Oh, I don't like that.
you know what? No, still take him. Still take him because you know why? I told you, Derek Carr is in a situation now. If he wants his contract extension, boy, you better throw it to both tight ends. You better let it rip. Don't even be like eeny, meeny. No, just throw it.
I do actually believe there's something to that for Carr having a big year with rumors of Rodgers wanting to head west and stuff like that. Like deals can be done. I don't know. I'm not a salary cap person, but you can find ways to move on from anything and get a situation. And if Gruden really is unhappy, maybe he does figure out how to move away from Derek Carr.
I'll put it like this. If they saw Derek Carr long term, he would have had his extension already signed.
Sure, I definitely agree with that. I mean, didn't we just see Nick Chubb got money? Like, they're not wasting any time. They're like, we know that this guy can ball. We don't want to get to a Zeke situation when he's like threatening to sit out and wants more money. They're like, he wants this money. He's happy with it now. Let's give it to him.
Yeah, all I can really say with Derek Carr, I'm like, look, let it rip, boy. Let it rip. Don't hesitate. Just go YOLO.
Vegas odds have Raiders over under 8 wins.
And I'd bet the over. So and I would feel good in that bet. Not great, I'd feel good in that bet.
It's not like I'm taking the Jets and I'm saying they're going to win 8 wins. I'm saying the Raiders were 8-8 last year, and I'm giving them 2 more wins.
Well, you know what? What did they have us the year before? I think they had us at 6.
6 wins, over and under 6.
They had us at last year. They had us like 6 wins. Yeah, over under.
See, so improving. Raiders are improving.
Yeah, and you guys were 7-9 or 8-8 the year before too, right? Because remember, Joe, I always make the joke that you guys need to bring in Adam Gase as your closer. He should coach the final 4 games of the season because he finishes strong every year as to where Gruden needs that guy to come in.
Don't put that evil on us. Don't you put that evil on us.
6-4 the last 2 years to start the season.
Because you heard what they said about Adam Gase. Monty Ball already came out and said, bruh, Peyton Manning ignored everything that Adam Gase said in the radio.
Oh, it's Peyton Manning. Like the idea that this guy got jobs off of his back is ridiculous.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm telling you, Aaron Rodgers is
Because
doing
you
that this
had
year.
Adam Gase thinking like, oh yeah, he had Peyton Manning. Look what he did with him. Because Peyton Manning ignored everything from Adam Gase, that tells you this man was never good.
Yeah.
Never.
No argument here. I've got two different franchises to watch.
Phil, I've been saying that Aaron Rodgers is going to pull what Peyton Manning did this year. He don't care what the coaching staff in Green Bay does. And if they want to try that field goal crap again this year, Aaron Rodgers said, this is what we're running.
Well, of course he's doing that tough guy stuff. Like he could have done that last year. He's Aaron Rodgers. He could have looked over to the sideline and been like, "No, bro, I only have a few years left, and I want to win or lose on my own accord. I don't want to kick a field goal and play for, whatever. I am the analytics. I'm Aaron Rodgers. You might as well put analytics on the back of my jersey. I want this one." And he didn't do that. He allowed his coach to take that one on the chin.
Like I'm gonna be real here. I think if LaFleur ends up calling a timeout and says, "Dude, I'm throwing the special teams out there. We're gonna kick the field goal." Aaron Rodgers needs to look at his special teams like, "Sit your ass back down."
Yeah,
sit your ass back down. So help God. Sit down.
Yeah.
Offense, let's go.
Yeah,
and he just need to go over to LaFleur and just buck at him.
There was already some stories that came out about how he treated him on a plane, and I was like, "Oh, that's cold-blooded right there."
I'm telling you this: if that was live during the game and he bucked at him, John Gruden is licking his chops like,
"Oh yeah,
yeah."
That's why they traded Amari Cooper.
Oh,
we're not going to get into that, Tony. We're not going to get into that. Phil, we can move away from football for just a little bit because I see that Lakers shirt that you have on. Are you a big Laker fan?
Absolutely, man.
All right. Well, that's enough talk for the day.
Okay. Finally something for me. And Joe, I have about 5 minutes or so and I got to run out of here, but I want to ask Phil this because I'm also a big Lakers fan, and I am still torn about Russell Westbrook coming to the Lakers, right? Where I am like, it's not my favorite fit. I wanted Lowry and DeRozan. They felt like the perfect match, a point guard who could shoot, a mid-range guy who could maybe come off the bench. I don't know how I feel about Westbrook.
I put it like this. Westbrook, he just needs to fall back. He needs to fall back and just be the guy like, hey, I need you to just be the point guard, okay? I need you to just do that. Now, if you get open, make your shots, great. If you're going to put points on the board, great. If you're going to play defense, great. But none of that, I'm going to have to fight you to get this assist or not, excuse me, not assist, but a rebound. I don't need that. Now, there's still hope. There's still hope that we can get DeRozan. There's still hope. But I like that we brought back Dwight Howard. I wouldn't mind us bringing back JaVale McGee.
Yeah, me too.
We got what? Wayne Ellington. Damn, like we really bring them back. We brought back Trevor Ariza. We getting the old gang back like it's like Ocean's 13.
Yeah, they probably did something where they said like, hey, we can only pay you league minimum, but we'll also take care of your expensive property tax here in the LA area. Like, on the hush hush, we'll get you some Bitcoin. You can take care of that.
Right.
I think DeRozan ends up on the Clippers because I think it seems like a decent fit. It doesn't seem like Kawhi's going to play next year, and DeRozan wants to play back in LA where he's from to finish out his career. But I was hoping it was the Lakers. It's not. But I do like some of those pieces that you mentioned. Well, Ellington can shoot. Ariza can still shoot. Can still play a little bit of defense. Not quite as tenacious as he was when he was younger. And I love Dwight being back. He was so much fun, so much energy for that final year. Not the first trip, but the second trip was worth it.
So I'm trying to remember with Kawhi's contract. So he's officially a free agent right now.
Yes, he is. I think there's an opportunity for a player option that he can take, and they can pay him, and he can rehab or whatever it is. I think those are the things. But he's a free agent on his own accord, but he has a player option that he can get paid like 24 or 28 million to just sit on the sidelines or something.
I put it like this. Now, what if you saw him deciding to go to LA?
And staying.
I mean the Lakers.
I personally would. I don't know how that works. I don't even think that there's a luxury tax that you could have to pay Westbrook, LeBron, and AD and Kawhi all the same. And also, too, there's something about it where that just seems unfair for those four guys to be on one team together.
You know, hey, look what Brooklyn did.
Yeah, and Brooklyn, I think, is planning to make some other moves too. I've seen sign and trade the Spencer Dinwiddie, but yeah, I don't know. Some of the moves I saw are exciting. I'm still waiting to see what happens with Dame, whether or not he stays or goes or waits a year, and Ben Simmons. Like, what do the Sixers do? You know, like I think there's some things that could move there. But as far as the Lakers go, I'm just trying to figure out how I feel, and I want to see, like you said. Can he fall back? That's the question. I've never seen him do it before. He didn't do it with KD. He didn't do it with Chris. He didn't do it with Paul. He didn't do it with any of the Beatles that he's played with. Why would he give up to Ringo and whoever else now? Like, he needs to be a front man.
Who, Westbrook?
Westbrook, yeah.
You know why I say he'll do it now? The man has came short too many times of getting a ring. Too many times. When you know it's like, look, I got to change something up. And if it means I got to fall back, damn it, I'll do it. I'm going to tell you.
I don't see it happening.
I'm going to tell you, you know, when we did it on Thursday, the whole entire week, I was like, he wanted to stay with the Wizards. Because the thing of it is, he was making too much of an immediate impact with the Wizards, even off the court. Bradley Beal is like, I thought I was the face of the franchise. I'm like this. Look, they went on and shipped them off. You saw how they really shipped them off with like chump change, really.
You're talking about the Westbrook situation.
Yeah.
So, Westbrook and LeBron reportedly met with Jeannie and AD or whatever at LeBron's house. You know, probably did a private screening of the movie and all that fun stuff. But like, yeah, it's fine. I also would have preferred Bradley Beal in the trade, but Washington wasn't moving him.
He's staying. Like, he wants to be the face of a franchise. He doesn't want to be a part of a big unit. He wants to be the face. Bradley Beal. And he's staying put in Washington. I already knew that right off the bat. And this man was like, yeah, I'm opting in. I want to be the face of the Wizards. But he couldn't do that if he had Westbrook there.
Well, sure. But now I don't even think the Wizards make the playoffs next year. Like, the East is better than people think.
It's funny when people be saying that, and they always get in off the skin of their ass.
They did have a nice magical run towards the end there, but the East has at least 6 really good teams, and that leaves 2 spots open. So maybe if they continue to play it.
The East is Jekyll and Hyde. It will forever be Jekyll and Hyde to me.
Yeah, I don't know. I like some of these young teams. I mean, maybe the Knicks make some moves. The Hawks will be back next year. And then you have Boston, Philly, the Heat. I like the move of getting Kyle Lowry in there. Who am I blank? The Nets. I didn't even say that. Like, I like the top 6 teams in the East. Oh, the Bulls made some moves, but they're kind of in that Washington category for me, where it's like down there. I mean, the Pacers, if Brogdon goes to Philly, I think that's a huge upgrade for them because they have a point guard who wants to shoot and can play defense, which is something, Simmons can play defense, but he couldn't shoot. He couldn't score.
Man, it's something with Joel, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
I'll give
We'll
you a
see how
quick.
things shape up.
I'll give you a quick few seconds to talk about NBA, and then we got to wrap it up, and we can come back and talk about NBA at another time.
I'm good, Joe, because I actually need to get
What you
going.
got?
Phil, go ahead.
No. Yeah.
Well, Phil, I appreciate you coming on, man. We talk. I know some people don't like talking about Raiders, but we talked about what they don't, and we gave them some reasons to start loving the Raiders this year. Hopefully, we turn Tony just a little bit, but you're welcome to come back anytime, Phil. And let everybody know where they can find you one more time.
Like I said, you guys can find me on Twitter, Phil Jones NFL. You guys can find the Unfiltered Truth page on Twitter, Facebook, and on our YouTube page. Go and give it a subscribe. I got some interviews with Calvin Johnson, some of the Hall of Fame greats, and I have an episode. I got an episode getting ready to happen at 10:30 Eastern. So I'll give you guys a little recap. What went on down today? Joe, as you know, Mike Mayock had he tested positive with COVID-19, but he was vaccinated, so he's doing pretty good right now. So he said it could have been a lot worse.
That's on tonight's show you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
that'll be on YouTube on the Unfiltered Truth.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, Phil, I hope we can have you back again and we can also get Mike in here, and I need to familiarize myself a little bit more with the Chargers. Offense, who's going on, what's going on. I'll take Mike's personal film study of the Los Angeles Chargers.
I give you one good thing for the Chargers. Y'all better start using Donald Parham right. I had Donald Parham set to go to the Raiders, but he got hurt during 2019 when he was with the Senior Bowl. Hurt his draft stock. I thought the Redskins at the time were going to do something with him. They didn't know how to utilize him. He dominated in the XFL. I'm just like, Chargers, you have him, utilize him. He can be great.
Okay. I can't.
It literally came from right out of my mouth. I know Mike is like, oh my gosh, Heldon froze over.
He said something nice about a Charger.
But I'm saying Donald Parham can be pretty damn good. So if you use him right, that connection for Herbert and him, that's going to be pretty damn good for a long time.
So there you go, Charger fans. We gave you a little bit of love at the end of it. I'm Joe Morley. This is Tony Tucker for the Welcome to the Warzone. Phil, you stepped into the Warzone. You did absolutely great, and you're welcome back anytime. Everybody check us out this week. Make sure you guys like and subscribe for everything that we need to do. Make sure you go and find Phil on all his platforms. Give him some love. We're out of here. We'll see you next time.
Let's get ready to rumble.
Step into the war zone.
Step into the war zone.
Step into the war zone.